What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great day. Now the market is plummeting, everything is in the red, everybody's panicking. We obviously want to know what to do. So in this video, we're doing a bit of a market update. We're looking at the overall market itself. We're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're obviously looking a little bit into what's happening in the world. We got an update on the NFT market that is, for the first time in a very long time, actually going down as well, while crypto market is going down too. What we've seen very often lately is when crypto market goes down, especially Ethereum, when Ethereum drops, then the NFT market actually booms and goes up. Floor prices rise, people are starting to buy more NFTs at that time. Right now, when everything has got a hit, a massive hit, you actually see that the NFT market is getting a hit as well. Most of the NFTs that, the blue chip NFTs are dropping in floor price quite massively, and I want to look a little bit into what's going on currently in the market, and of course my gameplay of what I'm doing right now to still try and make as much money as possible and to set myself up for when things turn around a little bit. So let's get started with what is happening in the world. Of course, we know Russia, Ukraine is one of the biggest, it's probably the most talked about thing in the news right now. Russia just invaded Ukraine. That's happened today on Thursday, and which is one of the reasons, probably the reason, that the whole market is plummeting. Right now, I'm not gonna sit here and act and pretend like I know everything that's going on with Ukraine and Russia and the motives behind it and what's gonna happen in the future, because I don't. I'm not a political fan, first of all, and obviously not a specialist. But what we do know is that Russia has its reasons, or Vladimir Putin has its reasons to invade Ukraine, which is a little bit less bad, I guess, and aggressive as what's talked about in the news. He's being put down as a very bad person right now with the things he's doing, and it makes sense because you're invading you're like semi-declaring war, I guess. Well, not really, but he is making moves to a country where there's definitely going to be people dying because of it. So it is a bit of chaotic that's going on, but he's got his reasons to it, and politically seen, he has his rights to do what he's doing so far. So he's not actually, the definition of war or something like that hasn't been stated yet. So that being said, again, I don't really know exactly what's going on, but we do know that as long as he's holding to the rules, sticking to the rules, that things might turn around quickly again when things, ease up again. And then that also means most likely that the market will turn around. Before we know that we're getting to that point, we got to be careful with the things we're doing, because we could see a bigger decline, especially if things do turn around in the news and things are going to take off a little bit more. Then we're definitely going to see a bigger drop and a bigger drop and a bigger drop. But so far, yes, there's people dying. Yes, there's bombs being thrown, and there's an invasion going on, etc. But it's still it's still going quite easy, I guess, so far with the things. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know most of the things. If you go to Al Jazeera, that's like a page that updates all the things happening, a little bit more realistic actual updates, where it's most of the times in the media they let things out a little bit. Here you can see a good update on things that have been happening. Yesterday or like last night, he did a video which is somewhere here. I just watched, it's like a minute. And then he announces military action, where he states that if people work along with him in Ukraine, then people can go home safely and there's nothing going on and nothing wrong. If they don't stand in the way and they are gonna trying to force Putin to not do what he wants to do, then they're willing to take massive action. I don't think it's gonna come that far. He is willing to go the long run. He is willing to do everything in his power that's possible to actually get what he wants, but I don't think that it's gonna come that far, because they don't want to have like a nuclear war. Definitely nobody's waiting for anything like that to happen, so probably won't. And that's not his goal either, right? He just wants what's his and what he thinks that his rights are, and that's the only thing that he's looking at. He doesn't want to go to war either. All right, so that being said, that's the main thing that's going on in the news, and the main reason why the market is going down. If you want to know a little bit more about this, want to stay up to date, by all means, go read into it. If you think it's fun, this is a good page to stay up to date a little bit with things. But the overall market is definitely down a lot. Bitcoin is down 20%, close to 20% over the last 7 days. It's sitting at 35K right now. Did we expect to go this far? Well, we did talk about going towards the 32K mark, or even sub 30 was a possibility. We had a bit of a drop not too long ago. And after that, it recovered a little bit. Right here, we were still, a month ago, we were still, let's see, this is the 10th of February, which is this month. We were still sitting at the 44K mark, right? Which was a massive different sentiment overall in the market. We dropped, we recovered a little bit. After that, we dropped massively, right? Not too long ago, last week, we dropped all the way down to 36, going from close to 40 again, close to hitting the 40. And then it recovered a little bit, but couldn't hold on to it, couldn't hold strong. And now we're back at the 35 mark. Ethereum dropped as well, 2,300. Is this going to continue? Yes or no? And are we in a bear market? Yes or no? Which is a question a lot of people ask, right? Well, currently fear is definitely high. There's extreme fear going on in the market, which again, if you watch my previous videos, this is usually an area where I buy in, and this is an area where I take profits. Super simple, right? It's not like this is my main measurement, and as long as this one is here, I'll just start selling, and as long as it's here, I'll just start buying blindly. But to be honest, the moments that I'm buying in, right, if I would open up this page, the fear and greed index, every single time that I'm making a buy order, this arrow is always on this side. So it does kind of make sense. When I'm selling, this one is always on this side, right? That's overall. Sure, individual projects might have a little bit of a different feel to it or different situation, because there might be some announcement that's specifically for that project. But overall on the market, you know, this is a good way to look at it. Why? Is because, well, you know that people are very scared right now. They're taking their money out. They don't want to invest. I've seen tweets of, like, you know, bigger people with a lot of money that have still been taking the money out even today, where market plummets this much already. So someone posted a tweet. He was like, I just took out 300K. Did I just sell at the bottom or not? Question mark. So he was scared. He took his money out, but he already, well, not assumed, but he considered that he might have been selling out of fear when he already hit the bottom. But if everybody continues doing that right now, of course, then that's not the bottom, because everybody's taking the money out, and we're going to drop more and more and more, and then the ball starts rolling. So is this a bear market? Well, I actually wasn't aware of this. I know when, you know, we're talking about a bear market and a bull market and what's happening, etc. But the actual definition, I wasn't too sure, to be honest, because I never really thought about it. I did know this bit, right? When we're in a 20% decline or more, a fall of 20% of decline or more, it's stated as a bear market, right? 10% is a correction, 20% is a bear market, which makes sense. But there should be more to it, right? It's not, all right, cool, we dropped 20%. Yes, we're in a bear market. That's all. Right, so there's a little bit more to it, and we got to understand a little bit more about what's happening in the market right now, so that we know on what to do moving forward. And there's, of course, cycles to it. This is more stated a little bit to the like stock market. That's why they talk about ETFs. Sorry, talk about ETFs and about, you know, whether the market is like the stocks are going down or up and down or not. But it is good to understand when we are in a bear market and what we need to be doing. Is that the case right now? Well, could be. One thing that I thought was funny, was important here, is we've actually been in a bear market in 2020, right? Well, nobody's really talking about that. We talked about the financial crisis in 2008. That was like real. Everybody was experiencing that. That was like talked about on the news consistently, and it was chaos, and people were, you know, losing a lot of money at that time, and a lot of people went bankrupt and whatnot, and that took a while to recover from. In 2020, definitely wasn't the case, right? We plunged into a bear market in 2020, which was the most rapid one in history. So we plummeted because of the corona stuff that was going on, all the bullshit that was happening in the world, but we also recovered after that pretty quickly, right? We look at Bitcoin, and then we look at like the all-time chart. This is the all-time chart. Let's zoom in a little bit from, you know, 2018 roughly. Then you can't really see a bear market somewhere around here, right? You see a drop here in 2017 towards 2018, but you actually do see the hit in 2020, which is here. Why? Is what we were sitting around the 10K, and we dropped all the way. Here was a steady decline somewhere along this line from 8K towards 4.9, right? So we hit 4.9. I think we hit 4.7 as well, if you would find that little bottom, which we aren't. But somewhere along the line we hit below the 5K, where we came from 10. So we were cut in half. Well, did that really matter? Not really. If you bought in here at the peak, and then we're like, fuck, I bought in at the peak, and then we dropped into the bear market, Well, no big deal at this point. Here you almost had a 7x, right? So fucking what does it matter? It doesn't, which we talked about in the previous videos as well. Sometimes it is a bit fucked up, to be honest, if you would buy the peak. But if you then zoom out a little bit in the longer term, well, you didn't actually buy the peak. You just bought at that moment at a bit of a spike up. Here, you definitely wouldn't considering 6xing your money in the next 1.5 years, especially after this drop came. But yeah, you did at this point. So we're in a similar situation now, right? We were at 67K and now we're sitting at 35. So we're almost cut in half. Right, from the 67 points towards here, we're almost cut in half. And we could definitely drop a little bit more. We could see that 30 mark depending on what the market is going to do, right? Does that then really matter if you bought in somewhere here? I think for the long term, even midterm, not really. What is long term? Well, your long term is like, I don't know, 5 years plus. Midterm is 1 to 3 years, 1 to 4 years. That's a midterm play. If you bought in somewhere here, then you're fine. Also does mean that if you would buy in right now, then you would be fine as well. I'm gonna assume. Does that mean that you've hit the bottom? No, maybe not. Maybe it's even gonna go to like 25. Maybe it's even gonna go to 20K or whatever. Does that matter? Not really. Which is another statement made in here, which is something that we always talk about. Don't try to catch the bottom. Very important. So for depending on where you're at right now, if you bought in at a pretty high rate, and that doesn't go just for Bitcoin, that goes for Ethereum and all the other coins as well. Bitcoin has been at close to 5K, right? And now it is sitting here 50% less, cut in half. All the crypto gaming that we talk about so much, they've had a massive hit too, which is a category I want to dive into quickly because that's one of our main areas, main focusing areas, and our main, well, that's where we make the most amount of money, right? And these all have like 30 to 40% hit right now. So they've dropped quite a lot. So if you're in one of these coins and you still believe in them, well, yes, this is a good buying point. Why is it a good buying point? Because you don't want to catch the bottom because you're going to miss out. Trying to time the market is generally a losing battle. One thing to keep in mind during bear markets is that you aren't going to invest at the bottom. Buy stocks or crypto because you want to own the business for the long term, even if the share price goes down a little bit more after you buy. All right, what does that mean for now? Whether we're in a bear market or not, statistically saying, yes, we are. So if you've never experienced a bear market, welcome. It's chaos, it's red, it's painful, it's scary, but you got to sit it through, because if you do sit it through and you make the right moves, then you're going to make millions and millions and millions of dollars if you want to over the next couple of years after that when we do recover, because it is a guarantee that Bitcoin will hit a new all-time high, that Ethereum will hit a new all-time high. It is possible for Ethereum to hit 10K plus, right? Well, if that happens, well, you can imagine what's going to happen to all these crypto gaming coins, all these small altcoins, all these coins that have like massive potential that are very, very little and at the start of their, their run up later on. Falcon Forge sitting at $8, one that we talk about consistently. Fine buying it right now and then dropping back towards $4. Oh man, my investment is cut in half. Also, well, at $4 you buy in again. At $2 you buy in again. Eventually, this is going to hit a new all-time high. All-time high is 42. Well, this is definitely going to do well. I think over the midterm, this will hit a new all-time high, which is going to be 40 plus, 42 plus. Well, imagine what happens to your investment then. You just got to be patient. You got to sit it through. You just got to not panic, not be emotional. Logic over emotion, right? So, looking at it from that regard, yes, this is a good buying point. Does that make sense, me saying it? Well, maybe not, because everything is chaos. It's scary. People are in extreme fear. But again, this is a buying point. If it turns out that this eases up a little bit, and nothing too crazy will happen, again, because that's not Russia's intent, well, then that does mean that things are going to turn around. We're probably going to boom. We're going to spike up, and crypto gaming coins are the ones that are going to benefit from it the most, right? As soon as Bitcoin goes back up 10% or 20%, or Ethereum jumps up 30%, well, these coins are all going to do 50 to 100% over the next midterm. You can generally 5x or 10x your money if you make the right plays. Ultra is one that I'm keeping my eye on right now. Falcon Forge, as we said multiple times. Guild Games. I think Guild Games, we've done a video on that before. Guild Games are projects that have a massive, massive potential in the crypto gaming play to earn scene. These are going to be a very massive player in play to earn because they help people that don't have that much money to get into a project to be a part of that still in a certain way. and we're gonna need more guild games for play to earn to develop and evolve and move forward. And when all of this is evolving, right, we're gonna adapt to it and understand where money flows. And money is going to flow to gaming studios, to guild games, which is a little bit more stable than some certain specific actual games itself, right? UFO Gaming, same thing. Seedify, same thing. And I keep mentioning the same projects, which is funny because some people are like, oh, you said Seedify, oh, you said UFO Game, or especially this one, you said Falcon Forge at like 24. It's at $8 right now. Yeah, sure, which is fine. I'm not saying that I'm gonna call the bottom. I'm not gonna say that I can sell the peak. You don't want to buy the bottom and sell the peak. You just want to buy when you think, you know, there's upside potential, and you want to sell when you've earned yourself enough good money. And there is upside potential here. Does that mean it's the bottom? No, not necessarily. It could be, but not necessarily, which is fine. We don't have to know that. We don't have to look at that. Veracity, same thing. Down 40% over the last 7 days, but down a lot more over the last month, right? It went all the way, like 40, 34 probably, but it's gone up. It's been up a lot higher than that before. There's definitely a 10x potential in this project over the next mid-term. If you're looking for short-term plays though, which I usually do a lot, like I make a lot of short-term plays, I don't right now. I don't at all. If I know that there's an announcement coming, if I get some sort of inside information, if I know that they're gonna do something which is not necessarily inside information, but if they announce that they're going to do a certain play as a project, and I know that it's gonna make money, yes, I will put in. I would be happy with the 20% gain, and I will step out again, right? But if you do 5 of those plays and you take 20% here, 20% there, 20% here, 20% there, well then overall you're doing pretty well. But other than that, I'm not making any short-term plays right now because it is just very difficult to understand what's happening in the market. Yesterday, we'll do a video on it later on. We did X2, Y2, right? And I actually bought some more. On the video, I thought it was fun. It was interactive with you guys. You know, I'll buy some live on the video because it was down that much. Well, after I did, even though it dropped quite a lot, we're going to talk about this later on a little bit more, right? But I bought in after this drop, so I bought in somewhere here. Probably bought in somewhere here. Bought in after this drop, right? Which was like, all right, cool, it dropped and you bought in, cool. Well, after that it dropped out even more, right? Would I buy in right now again? No, probably not. If it goes towards 50 cents, yeah, I'll buy in some more. APR is very high, so I'll just accumulate tokens along the way, and if eventually that turnaround point comes and it goes back towards, you know, 30-40% gain, I can take it out and I might even be in profit. Even if you break even right now with a market like this, then I guess it's a good play. Nineko, that's one of the different stories. That one is up massively over the last 7 days. If you play this one, we talked about this one a lot in our Discord. If you would be in our Discord, you would have known that this was a good play to make not too long ago. We talked about it somewhere here. So yeah, if anybody that took that call in our Discord that bought it would have had a massive gain after this run, and I would take profit right now. I would have taken profit along this line up. Not necessarily, again, not at a peak, but I would take profit at this line up here. Take some profit, take some profit, take some profit. And if you do that, your overall selling point is definitely, you know, at least a 30% gain overall. Well, if you can time that properly, if you can do something like that, and a market like this is down right now, that's a double gain. Because even being in stables, Ethereum down 20%, and you've got stables, you've gained, right? You've gained massively. That was an awesome play if you had something in stables. Well, if you were actually able to gain 40% while something else is down 30%, that's a double gain. And if you make plays like that right now, that means that there's just more money to put in other projects right now. NFT Worlds did pretty well overall with the NFTs. And then, of course, this is now a bit of a drop. We can talk about all these specific projects. Same thing, CryoWar at a discount. I would happily buy in CryoWar a little bit more right now. I actually don't hold anymore. I took profits, by the way. But I did hold CryoWar. I would happily buy CryoWar right now. I know that this same thing will eventually do very well if this is going to hit an all-time high, which is ambitious but possible, right? Especially in the longer term, because they do have a lot of things going for them, a lot of things coming up. They soon come up with like the skins and stuff for the NFTs that they come up with. But if the actual game is going to do well, There's a 20x potential here in cryo war just by hitting the all-time high, not breaking the all-time high, hitting a new one, but going back towards the all-time high. There's a 20x in there. So even if they hit half of that, you got a 10x. Do you need to call the bottom? No, you don't. You just need to understand when there's a good buying opportunity. Altura, definitely one that is mid and long-term high potential project. So overall, crypto gaming scene is something that I have heavily invested in and focus on quite a lot, and I'm happy the market is dropping like this, because Gala is one that went up a lot and people were like sad that they missed the run, which was this run. That's like that's a run, that's a proper run, right? For a bigger project especially. Sure, there's smaller companies that do like a 1x, 2x, 3x, right? If Ethereum goes back to 5k, then you doubled your money, which is a massive play when there's quite a lot of safety investing in Ethereum. If you go to really small projects, then doubling your money is never enough, because people are spoiled these days. They need a 10x or 20x before they're happy. But Gala is an established project already, right? If they've done very well, they've shown us that it's a good project that we can trust. Well, if you can hear 5x your money, right, or even more, probably 7x your money, that's insane. And this massive run up shows that that possibility is here. Now we're back at 20. This can definitely hit a dollar eventually, 80 cents to a dollar. This can definitely hit a 20 billion market cap even. So then there's even a $2 potential, right? Well, in that case, you can 5 to 10x your money on a project that is actually pretty stable, pretty safe, I guess. So again, we don't have to call the bottoms, we just have to understand where we're at right now. So phases of a bear market, if we're even in a bear market, statistically we are, but most of the times we talk about a bear market as in, this is going to drop massively. After this, let's talk about NFTs for a second. But we usually talk about a bear market and we be like, man, this is going to take 6 months, 12 months, 18 months before we can actually finally see a bump up. I don't see that happening really. I think we could state that we're in a bear market, same as in 2020. Yes, apparently we were in a bear market. Did we really experience it like that? I didn't, right? Because yes, we dropped that much, but we also recovered that after that pretty quick, and we were still able to make a lot of money if we make the right plays, right moves. And for me, that is the crypto gaming scene. Even though things go down, that there's a lot of potential of making a lot of money in that place. So the first phase is characterized by high prices and high investor sentiment, which is what we've just been in, with Bitcoin sitting at 67k. Sky was the limit, and there seemed no end to it. Towards the end of this phase, investors began to drop out and take profits. Well, that happened too. This time, it's not just these simple phases that's economic indicators, but it's also, of course, the news that's going out there right now, which is, again, usually, if it's not just simply economic, I can't pronounce this word somehow, economic reasons, but it is also something that's going on in the news, just like happened with COVID, usually there's a faster recovery point after that. In the second phase, stock prices begin to fall sharply, trading activity and corporate profits begin to drop. Economic indicators, they might have been once been positive, start to become below average. Some investors begin to panic as sentiment starts to fall, and this is referred as capitulation. The third phase shows speculators start to enter the market, consequently raising some prices and trading volume, which is what we will probably see. This phase is what we'll probably see as soon as this eases up again. As soon as this eases up, then this will start slowly to shift again. This phase is what we'll get into. People will start investing again. Price will go up a little bit. People start to feel more confident. And then after that, definitely this is slowly going there. People will jump in quickly because they're going to be afraid that they're going to miss out. And then bang, that's your big run up. Fourth and last phase, stock prices continue to drop but slowly as low prices and good news start to attract investors again. Bear market starts to lead to bull markets. And when that happens, that's where we make bulk money. That's where we can turn a couple of grand into tons of grands, that we can turn tens of thousands of dollars into hundreds of thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars into millions of dollars, right? NFT market, yesterday we definitely, everybody knows Invisible Friends. What happened there, which was insane. Let's talk for a second about the Invisible Friends. What do we want to search for? One-on-one, right? One-on-one, because that was probably record-breaking stuff that happened there. Let's see if I can just open it up. Here we go. This is the one. There should be a link somewhere, I'm gonna assume, because it got sold for 496.69 Ethereum, which is insane, right? All money raised goes to charity, which is cool. $1.3 million by a guy. I think he has like 5 or 6 K followers on his Twitter. There's nothing special from the outside what we can see on his socials, but apparently that's a guy with a lot of money. What I find like insane about it is that they didn't even have that mint yet, so it was purely based on, I don't even know what it was based on. Let's see where we can find it. I want to show the no. So all right, cool. Well, we'll go back to this one for a second, then otherwise we're just wasting time here. Invisible Friends, floor of 8. Yesterday the floor was a lot higher. People were able to sell. Let's see what is the what happens here. No, people were able to sell 12 to 15 Ethereum, right? Right now people are still buying it for 8. You can already understand that the floor will never hold. A lot of people told me, oh, you should get in Invincible Friends, scoop one away quickly before they start to become, you know, a real blue chip and whatnot. I would never buy in right now, unless I had a whitelist, of course. I would just buy in. If I want to have one, I'll just wait until after the review. We talked about this before. I'll wait until after the review. I'm going to assume I will be able to swoop one up for like 4 to 5 Ethereum, potentially, let's say 3 to 6, somewhere in that range. 6 on the higher side, 3 on the lower side. After the review, you can swoop in. Yes, maybe if you buy one now, you have the possibility to a rare one, but you're not going to sit into this purely because you're hoping to get a rare one. That's just trying to test your luck. There's no strategy in there. If it turns out this is going to be a blue chip because of the community, because of the things they're coming up with, etc., 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 then buy in after the review when the price drops, and you just either buy a floor. I don't really want to buy a very rare one. I would buy like a rare, more rare mutant or like a rare ape, because I just kind of liked that project. It was the first blue chip I got in. I would buy a more rare Neo Tokyo Citizen because it gives more passive income with the bytes, the tokens that it produces every single day. Right now you earn like 2 rewards, which is 2 bytes per day. You have ones that has 15 as well. So the peak of that bytes has been at 200, where you can imagine that makes sense because then you're earning more passive income. Other than that, there's no point getting a more rare one because you get the same benefits from the community that you have with a simple floor one, right? All right, well, let's not go back towards this one too much, but goes to show what the potential are still in the market, even when market is, you know, performing like it is right now and people are scared. I kind of want to show you the 101. Because it was 400. There we go. This is the guy. Followers went up like crazy. I think it was a lot less yesterday. Apparently people started to follow him. It was like, all right, cool. There must be something about this guy. This is now his NFT, the one that he bought, right? This is the 101 NFT. I think what he got back for it is like 5 mints. So a whitelist, he could mint 5 of the normal ones. So he was able to mint it for 0.25 and then sell it for, let's say, 10 to 12 Ethereum. So he won a little bit of that money back, but not enough, right? He still paid $1.3 million that goes to charity. I wonder what the actual utility is in that Invisible Friends right now, why somebody will buy one of those. But cool, still insane that they've hit a floor of 8. You can see the floor is dropping. Like at the start of the video it was 8.2, it's 7.99 now already. Insane that a project like that can actually hit this, right? People are now taking profits and they're scared that they might miss the peak, so eventually the floor price will drop a little bit. Overall though, what I find very interesting right now is this. Bored Ape, we probably don't have to search for it here. Bored Ape, floor price 80. Dropped a lot, quite a lot. Before the floor price was sitting at, it's hit 116, I believe. At the peak of it, the floor price eventually was 100, and average price here. Out of 27 sales, 125 floor, although sometimes there's an expensive sale. But here, people are actually selling it. They're taking orders, they're taking offers right now for a lot less, a lot lower. So there's a massive drop in floor price. People might consider that we're going into a bear market. They might not think they need it anymore for now if they're not going to be as active, and they might just want to take profit if there's somebody that was in there from either all the way at the start or somewhere of like the 20 to 30 Ethereum mark. Well, then you can take 50 to 60 Ethereum profit right now. Yeah, sure, why not? right? Because if Ethereum does drop towards, I don't know, below the 2K, well, then that Bored Ape is not worth as much money anymore, even with a floor price of 100, because Ethereum is just a lot less. Could be one of the theories as to why this price is dropping. Could also just be the overall sentiment of the market, right? Neo Tokyo Citizen, same story. This one had a floor right here. Look, this is insane. So if you look at the rewards that we talked about, you see the properties, no, you see the levels, reward rate, which is the most important thing to look for. You can have a reward of 15. This is the token bytes. So this is what you're earning per day, passive income. You earn the token. Ooh, damn, that's the lowest it's ever been. So you can actually still mint this. I might mint another one. Damn, I didn't expect that. You can, for 2,000 bytes, you can mint an identity. You need multiple components to get a citizen. One of the main component is the identity, which is 2,000 bytes. Before, bytes was sitting at 30. It's been at 200, but it was sitting at like 20 to 30 for a long time, and now it hit 7.5. So with $15,000 right now, you can mint a new identity. And what does that mean? You have the chance of minting a high one, and a high identity gives you higher rewards. 15 means that you earn 15 bytes per day. So right now, yeah, it doesn't seem too much, but it's been at 200. So if you earn 15 times 200 tokens every single day, well, 3K in your pocket, that's decent. Who wouldn't want that, right? Which makes sense. All right, but the floor of a reward rate 2, which is the basic one, really, was sitting, I believe, at 130K not too long ago. Floor price, Ethereum was close to $4,000. Floor price was sitting at, I don't know, it was like 35 Ethereum to 40 Ethereum, roughly, with a higher floor price, right? So it was above the 100K, 120 plus K at least. Right now, 33. So that one dropped massively. There's multiple factors to it, not just the market. Same goes for Azuki. All right, Azuki dropped as well a little bit, not too much. That's holding fairly stable, 9.4. It was sitting at 13 point something. But the overall volume of a lot of projects has gone down quite a lot, right? The 24 hours, this one dropped. All the newer ones that just popped up obviously do go up. But the ones that have been here, you can see that the volume dropped over the last 7 days, quite significant. Mutant, floor price was sitting at 26 before. Most of the times hold stable around 20, now 15. All right, we don't have to go through all of these, but what is the main thing we want to do here now? How do we make money? What do we focus on? Because that is the most important question, right? What I do, first of all, very simple. I just swoop up whitelist, right? So I flip NFTs. If you had a whitelist for Invisible Friends, you probably would have had to really work hard for it and be very active in the group and whatever, which makes sense. But it means that you earned yourself a lot of money, because for 0.25 means you could have sold it for 10 Ethereum. Well, that's bang, a 20x. No, that's not true. A 40x on your investment, which, you know, if you can sell it for 20 something K, then it's not a whole lot of work to just be very active in the chat consistently, right? That's easy money. I don't do it. I don't grind for whitelist. I get whitelist every once in a while through certain things, and I just flip those because it's guaranteed money. If the way you go buy it is you just go to a project, you check the floor price, right? You see what the floor price is at. You see whether there's volume or not. You see whether there are sales or not in the last 10 to 15 minutes. If there are, you just mint it for the mint price. Then you make sure that you can list it high. So floor price needs to be high enough that there's profit in there. You just mint it, and then you list it straight away for however profit you can make. I just always list below floor price. Well, I want to make sure I'm the lowest one. I'll list it 0.01 lower or 0.1 even lower. I just want to make sure that somebody buys it, because I don't want to miss out on it. And then take my profit, don't look back, easy. If you can have multiple a week, then you can still earn a couple of grand every single week, or at least a couple of $100 every single week, that you can use to accumulate more money so that you can use that over time again, which is very easy done. Right. Aside from that, I would still accumulate more tokens in the crypto gaming scene. I would look at something that's dropped a lot over the last 24 hours. I would buy in Gala right now. I would buy in more. If things then go here, Illuvium, I would definitely see Illuvium go back towards the $2,000 or more. And if that's the case, then eventually I would have accumulated quite a lot of tokens, and then things here will ease up, and then bang, I will make a lot of money out of it. It's actually as easy as that. If market drops another 20%, another 30%, another 40%, I'll see where I feel like there's another buying opportunity, and I will just buy in more, and I'll buy in more. Right now, I don't play with any projects that are very high risk. I only buy in projects that I know I'm in X2, Y2, which is a high risk, but that's small bit of money that I set aside for that, which we play with a little bit for the videos as well for you guys. But I would buy in projects that I just know over time are going to do well because the market needs them. The market needs a Falcon Forge. The market needs a Seedify. So they will go back towards their original either stable level, which is for Seedify, for example, around the $10 to $12, or hits a new all-time high, which is 16 plus, right? And the same goes for Falcon, and the same goes for Illuvium or Ultra, maybe even Illuvium as well. The same goes for Gala. So that makes sense. I hope for everybody. That's my play. That's the way I look at the market right now. I think that we got to take things with good care. You got to be careful with the way you put money in right now. Definitely only put money in that you're fine losing with too, and definitely don't put everything. Always hold a bag aside that you can play with right now if things do go south more, because there's also a possibility that Bitcoin just drops below the 30, and then you never know what happens after that. I'm not going to present here and sit like I know what's going to happen, but the possibility is that if something like that happens, that it just breaks through and goes all the way towards like the 25k, and then Ethereum to like 800 to 1200, right? Don't see it happening, but we also don't know what will happen, because there's a possibility that something like that could happen. And then if that's the case, then you definitely want to make sure that you have money left aside. And when that happens, because if that's the case, imagine how much money you're gonna make when the market does turn around. So that's a detailed update on the whole crypto market and NFT market as to the way I look at it right now and what I will be doing so far. If you could just hit the subscribe button, bell notification so you get updated on our next videos, I would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.